These are all the colors for the Galaxy S26 Ultra, and Samsung's got some big new features with this device, like the customizable privacy screen. But is it enough to earn your hard-earned cash? In this video, we'll talk about the biggest new features and some disappointments you should be aware of. But first, if you do end up wanting to get the S26 Ultra, definitely use my exclusive affiliate links in the description and pinned comment, which gets you an exclusive bonus discount on top of the $900 trade-in credit if you have an S25 Ultra and the incredible bundle deals. With that out of the way, let's take a look at the features. So the very first thing we need to talk about is this privacy display, where when you turn the phone to any side or up or down, it hides what's on your display. But this can be turned on or off. So if I jump to the quick settings here, and I tap the privacy display toggle, I can turn it off. And now when I turn the screen, you get much better viewing angles like you typically get with an OLED screen. And once I turn it back on, you'll see that it makes a huge difference in visibility on the side. That's really cool. Now, something I did notice when using this feature is that it does dim the screen a little bit. So if I turn this back off, you'll see the screen does get a little bit brighter and then a little bit dimmer when it's enabled. And that's because this turns off about half the pixels in order for that to work. But surprisingly, when I look really closely at the text, I don't see much of a difference in clarity of that text when turning this mode on or off, despite a bunch of those pixels being disabled. And I also want to point out that this privacy mode is customizable. So if I long press, I can set conditions for it turning on. So I can have it turn on for specific applications. So any application that's installed, you can have it automatically turn on when you open that application. Or you can have it automatically enable whenever you have to enter your PIN, pattern, or password. And if you just want it to hide your notifications, that's an option too. Basically what would happen is if a notification popped up, only that part of the screen wouldn't be visible when you turn it, but the rest of the screen would still be visible. And if you really want to get advanced with the privacy display, you can go into the Modes application by long pressing that icon, then tapping Details. And if you create a new routine, you can enable the privacy display and even maximum privacy protection, which makes it even more difficult to see from the sides, based on any condition you want. So if I just jump back here real quick, 'cause this is really important to show you guys. So the condition can be literally anything. Anything from geolocation to when you're doing different activities like driving, time periods, when you're connected to specific networks, whether you're on Android Auto or you have like any of these settings changed or modified or applications opened, whatever you want, you could really customize when the privacy mode actually turns on and turns off. So I just learned that the privacy display has an extra feature here called maximum privacy protection. And what this does is turn any black colors to more of a gray to blend in with the privacy display's hardware feature. So the best way to show this is to look at the text here. If I turn the screen with the privacy display on, you can still kind of see some of that black text. You know it's there, you may not be able to read it, but you know it's there. But if I go back into the privacy display settings and enable the maximum privacy, it's going to turn that text to a bit more of a gray color. And now when I turn it, it gets a lot harder to read that text. But this does make everything a bit more muted on your screen. So this isn't something that you're just going to stay in all the time. This is if you need that maximum privacy for maybe being inside of a banking application or something like that. The privacy display can also be enabled by double tapping the side key. So as you can see, it kind of grayed out there. That's on and that's off. And you can just quickly jump back and forth with the double press. That's really cool. If you see a notification pop up and you're like, oh, that's sensitive information. It's like a passcode or something like that. You just double tap that. People can't see it. Double tap again when you're done with whatever you're doing and you're good to go. Now, something that's really important to point out with the privacy display is that this is only going to be available on the S26 Ultra, and it will not come to other devices because this is a hardware feature. The display has to be built a specific way in order for this to work, and none of the previous phones were built that way, not even the S26 and S26 Plus. The next big change has to do with charge speed. The Galaxy S26 Ultra now supports 60-watt charging, up from 45 watts previously. In case you're wondering, the S26 Plus gets 45-watt charging, and the regular S26 gets 25-watt charging. And while Samsung does not include the 60-watt charger in the box, which would have been great, they do at least include a 60-watt capable cable. So all you'll need to get is the charger, and you don't have to worry about finding a special cable. But I think the bigger improvement is the wireless charging. The S26 Ultra now supports 25-watt wireless charging, up from 15 watts last year. And even the S26 Plus gets faster wireless charging at 20 watts, and the S26 is at 15-watt wireless charging. But it is important to point out that you'll at least need to install an adhesive MagSafe ring on the back of your phone, or get a MagSafe case, and get a Qi 2 capable MagSafe charger. If you just try to put this on a regular wireless charger without those special magnets, you won't be able to get that charge speed. And that brings me to the first disappointment, in that there's no MagSafe ring inside the phone. And the reason for that is if you put a MagSafe ring inside the phone, the S Pen would start getting all wonky because of the magnets. And so while it is disappointing that we don't have the MagSafe ring built in, I'd rather not have a MagSafe ring and need to get a MagSafe case than lose the S Pen functionality. And speaking of the S Pen, let's go ahead and take that out and take a quick look at it. One of the first things you'll notice with the S Pen is the tip has a new slanted design, and that's because the phone is more rounded now. So the S Pen does have to go in a specific direction. So if I put it in like this, it's nice and flush. But if I take it out and flip it over, it will still go in, but it kind of sticks out a little bit on the side. Now, if you use a case with your phone, this probably won't bother you because you're not really going to see it. But if you're one of those people who don't use cases with your phone, this might get a little annoying. Besides that difference, the pen is identical to last year, so it has obviously some different coloring, but the button, everything functions exactly the same. You have the same sensitivities, same size, same style, same button placement, and you still have that lack of Bluetooth support, right? So they dropped the Bluetooth support on the S Pen with the S25 Ultra. Samsung is doubling down, and we still don't have any Bluetooth support here either. And Samsung is finally making their own MagSafe cases, so if you want to get a Samsung official one, you can do that. And they're also making their own 25-watt wireless charger. So if you want the guaranteed best compatibility that's not going to interfere with the S Pen and really get you that 25-watt fast wireless charging, I'd go with Samsung's official accessories. The cameras are mostly the same as last year, with the same megapixels on each of the cameras and even the same sensor sizes, but Samsung has widened the aperture on both the main camera and telephoto cameras. And Samsung says you'll get 47% more light into the main sensor and 37% more light into the telephoto sensor. And that's a pretty bold claim. Like, that's a huge percentage, which should make a really significant difference in low light photography and videography. And I'm definitely going to be testing this, so if you guys want to see that video, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. In terms of materials and durability, there are some differences here. So we still have Gorilla Armor 2 on the front and Victus 2 on the back. But something that changed is the frame. So the frame is no longer a titanium frame. They've gone back to Armor aluminum. But Samsung did say they have strengthened it compared to older versions of the Armor aluminum frames. For dust and water resistance, we still get IP68, so no changes there. Another design change you'll see is that in the corners, it's a lot more rounded compared to last year. So it's almost like Samsung went from rounded, then to sharp edges, and now back to rounded again. So they're just kind of going back and forth with that design language. And here's an interesting change that's kind of hard to show on camera, but this little camera accent that goes all the way around is actually translucent. Like, you can see through it. So I don't know if this is like just a glass shell around it or what, but it's a neat little touch, but it is really hard to show on camera. If you're curious about the new specs, here's a graphic showing you everything you need to know. But the biggest thing I want to point out here is the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 chip. And Samsung says this will give us a 19% improvement in CPU performance, 24% for GPU, and 39% for the NPU, which is responsible for all of the AI capabilities. And that's year over year. 39% year over year is actually really impressive. Another hardware improvement is the upgraded vapor chamber for better heat dissipation, but this is also a thinner phone, so maybe it's better heat dissipation, but since the phone is thinner, it's going to be basically the same as previous generations. But I'm not going to know until I start doing some benchmarking on this to test it out. And if you want to see that video, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. Now I want to show you guys some of the new software-based features, and this one is super crazy. So if you're in video mode and you do the super steady mode, you have your normal super steady mode, which makes the vertical kind of up and down movements really go away, and it gives you a super stable, almost gimbal-like shot. But Samsung has now added a horizon option, so it's a super stable horizon. Now, when I start recording, if I turn this all the way around, it's going to look like everything's just turning like normal, right? Everything's just, you know, okay, yeah, this is what you would expect to see when you're flipping a camera all the way around. But then when I stop this and I go to play the video back, look in the reflection. You can see me rotating the phone all the way around, but it's locked on the horizon. That is just absolutely incredible. When Samsung said that they had this new feature, I thought, it'd probably be okay. But that was like, I'm super impressed with that feature. And the demo Samsung showed with this was someone skiing down a mountain, and that was a really good use case for something like this, because as you're turning the phone kind of up and down and that kind of stuff, it'll just keep this really steady horizon and give you some really smooth either snowboarding or skiing shots. Another big software update is the addition of the audio eraser feature into third-party applications like YouTube, Netflix, and some other applications as well. Now, this is really useful for things like when I did my live hands-on for the Galaxy Watch release, the Galaxy Watch 8 release. I did it in a big convention center and there was tons of background noise. Like, just take a listen to this.
Classic. And I gotta say, right off the bat, when I first heard about this Oracle design, I was not a fan.
So you can probably hear a lot of that background noise right there. But now, if I start playing this video, then pull down my quick toggles, you'll see this audio eraser right here. And if I tap this and enable it,
and I'm actually really excited to buy one of these for myself. And I do have affiliate links
and increase the strength, change it to voice focus.
If you guys are interested. So the first big difference you'll see here is the tiles are completely different.
You'll see a ton of that sound just disappear.
You can now swipe up on it and get more information and different things to interact with.
Now, I don't know how well that's picked up on camera, but in person, that is a dramatic difference in background noise reduction. And you know where this would be especially useful is watching Tenet, because the music was so loud in that movie that it was hard to hear what the actors are actually saying, and this would actually allow you to watch that movie and reduce that sound. The AI photo editor gets a big update as well. You can now use natural language to edit your photos. For example, I can tap here to describe what to change, then use the voice recorder and say something like, change the shirt to red. Then I'll tap generate. That actually worked better than I was expecting it to. Wow, so now you can tap show previous, and you can see the two different shirt colors. So you can get really specific with the types of changes you want. Let's try one more to see if we can do something really crazy. Change the dog to a German Shepherd. That's awesome. That worked so well. That's crazy. There's the before and after on that. That's nuts. And so this is built, okay, actually, if I zoom in here a little bit, you can see the hand is actually coming up behind the ear. So not perfect, but that's really cool that all this can be done right from within the gallery application. Like if I back out here, all I did was tap this AI icon, then tap create, and then I was able to do what I just showed you. All right, let's try one more really complicated thing. We got this food here, and let's pretend we own a restaurant and we want to make this into like an advertisement. Put this food in a bowl on a table and make it look great for a advertisement. Let's try that. That's pretty impressive. So there's a ton of use cases for this, and I don't have time to get into it now, but hopefully this gives you a rough idea of what you can do with this feature. There's a ton more features on the S26 Ultra that I don't have time to cover in this video, but if you want to pick one up for yourself, definitely use my exclusive affiliate link in the description and pinned comment. That'll get you a bonus discount that you can't get anywhere else. And that's on top of the $900 trade-in credit that you'll get if you have an S25 Ultra and the massive bundle deals. And if you are going to be getting one of these, you'll definitely want to check out the best accessories for any Samsung phone by clicking this video here. And consider subscribing and turning on notifications if you don't want to miss my deep dive Galaxy S26 Ultra coverage. That's it for this tech episode. Jesus loves you guys, and I'll catch you in the next one.